This is an entirely different Manchester United that we are looking at. Coming into this summer window, it is very, very clear that Man United have got a plan on what players that they actually want. Not just positions, but the actual players have been ID'd. And there has been a relentless approach against getting the top targets in for the positions that Man United wanted to fill. Xerxes coming in right at the beginning of the window as his Euros campaign ended is one of those players that is definitely a coup for them to sign, but he didn't, have everyone across European football really hunting for him with his previous history before Bologna. So that is, it's great that they got their man in, but how much competition was there for it? But that has now been followed up by what looks to be the imminent signing of Leny Yoro from Lille. And this is totally different. This is a completely different kettle of fish because it looked like he was this close to joining Real Madrid and following in the footsteps of Raphael Varane, like he's been so often linked against or likened to. But Man United have pushed the boat out. They have pulled out all the stops, and they are going to be signing the 18-year-old wonderkid centre back. Who in the video today we're going to be looking at. Where does he actually fit into the Man United team? Does he make the best 11? And really, what are now the consequences for the rest of Man United's projected business throughout this summer? At any point in the window, if you do laugh, you learn, you maybe cry, or you like something, I don't know, please do like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and get into the comment section and let me know. Lenny Yoro, is it a transfer that's just all kind of glitz and glamour? It's a big money signing, you've got him away from Real Madrid, or is this going to be a real player with substance that can make a difference to the best 11 and really increase Man United's performance from last season to this? And yeah, let's just get stuck straight into it. Now, Lenny Yoro might not be a name that's familiar to yourself or many football fans around the world before this transfer saga of Real Madrid and Man United ensued, but friends of the channel, subscribers on this place have definitely heard this name brought up a few times already. I think the first time I mentioned him this season was in like a scout recommendation video for Newcastle back in January when their defence was like flat on the floor with injuries and just conceding goals left and right, because it was so clear, having watched this guy, not this season, but the season before and then into this season, that his kind of incline of progression was very steep, and he was a player that was going to go to the top of European football, and it would be really smart for any club to get in before Real Madrid, PSG, whoever it might have been that came calling, to bring him out of Lille and up to the top table of European football. And Man United really have won a watch with this one. Being a Celtic fan, it's not quite the same in terms of the age that they were at, but when I watch Leny Yoro, it really reminds me of a young Virgil van Dijk in a lot of ways. He has got the potential to be a real Rolls Royce of a defender. Now, at 18 years of age, he's not got a huge track record or a fairy-tale career where he's went and won leagues and cups and big Champions League performances or anything like that yet under his belt. But over the last 2 seasons, Lille have been on a massive rebuild. They won the league 3-4 seasons ago, depending on how you want to count it. And then they finished 10th the season after. But since Yoro's been brought out of the academy and into the team, it has coalesced with, Lille really getting their act together and finishing 5th and then 4th this season. And he has been pretty much ever present over the last 2 seasons as a 17, as an 18-year-old. And even though like the top line of his average performance here out of 100, 44 in the last 15 games, 53 in the last 40, doesn't look like anything like top table Van Dijk type level. But when you kind of zoom out and you have a look at last season as a whole, as well as the previous season to that, this is all 45 of his appearances in Ligue 1 and in European football, rated from 0 to 100. He's got enough scores up there that are in the 70s and above that show that he is an all-round defender. And if you really do go and drill into the bigger matches, the better performances he's had, whether it be against Aston Villa, Montpellier, PSG, Lyon, Toulouse, Marseille again, Monaco, he is really pulling out some effective defensive performances, and he started to get, a lot of admirers from, kind of football avid fans or amateur scouts, whatever you want to think of them as, because his 1v1 defending ability is absolutely fantastic. And this is one of the things that the Man United defence greatly needs an upgrade on, because Harry Maguire definitely isn't that guy. He very much feels out of his depth the higher up the pitch he is, and Man United do get caught out quite a lot with that. Lisandro Martinez, of course, is tailor-made for the sort of system that Ten Hag is trying to deploy and the playing out from the back approach that they want. But if you're going to have one defender that's going to play that way, you need the partner to do the same. If you can't have them working in tandem, which it really just doesn't seem like it's likely to do. Which for me, at this point, before Man United do any more business, would I would have Leny Yoro in the best 11 here for Man United, because this is a guy that's very comfortable stepping up to intercept balls, to make tackles, to, you know, prevent counter-attacks and transitions if the midfield does go a bit higher, because Lille and French football is adventurous. There's a lot of attacking play in it, and it does ask for the defenders to come into these danger zones, these no-man zones, where as a defender, if you get caught out getting tight to someone and the ball gets played around you, or you don't quite make it, then you're leaving a huge gap exposed for the rest of your team to have to deal with. And this guy has been very proficient at reading balls coming from deep and either stepping in and dealing with them, or getting tight to the man as he gets the ball and being able to win a duel and play the ball forward. He's very, very good with his forward passing statistics. But not just that, if you look at him, he's got a big enough frame, so he's definitely not a big brute of a centre-back like a Harry Maguire type, as it were. But that big frame makes him very press-resistant. So if he is like having to deal with the ball in a dangerous area in defence, he's big enough where the big bruting centre-back, big bruting kind of centre-forwards can't, you know, some of them might be stronger than him. They might get a bit of an inch off him. You know, they might be able to bully him in some games, depending on who specifically we're talking about. But, you know, it's not a foregone conclusion. This is a guy that can handle his own against a lot of really good, really strong, and really technically gifted forwards, where he can be that press-resistant defender that you want, who can roll out from a bit of danger and then play the smart ball to, you know, a midfielder or down for a fullback or whatever it might be. So he really does offer everything that you would want to partner Alessandro Martinez in front of an Andre Onana in this type of Ajax ball, Ten Hag ball kind of system. So I do think at 18 years of age, the main worry is, can he make the step up? Because the Premier League is a whole different level to Ligue 1, even though he did finish 4th this year, and we can wax lyrical about his individual 1v1 abilities. I would liken him to Van Dijk, so like I mentioned before, being a Celtic fan, Van Dijk was obviously older than we had him, but, you know, when I watch this guy, honestly, the haircut might play into it a little bit, but he just looks so much like Van Dijk in the sense that he puts his body on the line, he always captures the ball, and he's cool, calm, and composed. You know, he's never, you know, really caught out and sweating too much. You know, I really do like him. The only main difference is Van Dijk was way more of a goal threat for Celtic and for Liverpool, Southampton, or whatever. At Celtic, he was banging in free kicks from 25 yards, and for every team he's played for, he's capable of getting a header from a corner. Yoro can get a header from a corner. He can score those types of goals. He's done it before. I wouldn't say it's not in his arsenal, but at 18 years of age, he's not had enough time to really show any kind of offensive presence that he might have, but it's firmly going to be all the defensive qualities that he brings. And I think really he is a huge upgrade on Maguire. He's a completely different player to Lindelof, and thankfully, depending on your point of view, for Man United fans, it'll be thankfully, you could probably retire Johnny Evans from being in the matchday squad now with this level of player on the go. And I do think that this is a huge move, and Man United have had to really open up the checkbook. You know, this kid is getting £7.5 million a year, works out to be just over £140,000 per week, which is an eye-watering sum of money, but it just shows their determination. And, you know, for a player they want, if you wanted, you hear that from them all the time, and if they're putting that amount of money on the table, as well as, you know, telling the kid, we really believe in you, we want to play you, then, you know, this really could work out, unlike most Man United transfers that we've seen over the last couple of years. But what I think made this even easier to get over the line is, we've just seen, he's not on the board at the moment, we took him off in the last video, but Mason Greenwood is on his way now to Marseille for a fee. I don't know how much of it is up front or tied into installments or appearances and goals and sell-on fees or whatever, but circa 30 million euros is the reported fee for that. And him being a homegrown player, that just, as you guys know by now, we're all amateur PSR experts, aren't we? That just gets logged straight on to profit. So taking that Greenwood money really makes this Yoro transfer a lot more affordable, and it's maybe eye-watering to the outside observer of Man United like myself, like, wow, 60 odd million quid or whatever it is. But financially, from the way football finances work, it's actually a really good deal since you've got the Greenwood one off the books. But not too far behind Greenwood is probably going to be Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who is not a homegrown prospect. He's a Crystal Palace player, of course, so it won't quite get logged in that sense. And it does then, if you take AWB out of this, we're also relegating Evans. I think we want to relegate Lindelof out of the picture here a little bit, because the other players at Man United might be on the cusp of signing now that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is out the building. They've got the Leny Yoro piece in, as still Mathias de Ligt, who we spoke about on the previous video, and we won't really go into that in too much detail again. The Ajax triangle potentially of bringing Lisandro and de Ligt back onto the same pitch with Onana. It will definitely be appealing to Man United and Ten Hag. And Yoro, I think if he sees de Ligt come in, he will expect that he will be centre-back number 3, and it probably will be de Ligt and Lisandro, because de Ligt is more like Maguire, but has a lot of the qualities that we're just chatting about with Yoro. So he's a bit more of the complete package. Having been around the block once or twice, he's won a few leagues and stuff like that, you might have noticed. So it feels like if Ligte would come in next, and it feels like that is all but done. Terms are agreed, and it's just about getting the transfer fee sorted, then he would probably be the best 11 choice. And then Yoro's coming in to learn off of these guys and get valuable minutes when required, you know, because Ligte has had injury concerns, and Lisandro Martinez hasn't exactly been ever present for Man United either. And then Ligte and Maguire as the backup centre-backs, or even having you know, roundabout like this, like, it's great doppelgangers, it's great like for like options if you are going to rotate for League Cups, or somebody's suspended for a game, or someone gets injured for a month, where you don't need to change the style of the defence, you know, and the training can be a lot more coherent for, well, if it's De Ligt or Maguire, it's defending the same way, it's just a slightly, it's a different guy, so maybe not give the ball to Maguire as much, and maybe watch out for De Ligt getting sucked into different, whatever it might be. Personally, still not too convinced on the left-back situation, but I know Shaw's got a lot of admirers, and Malacia's got good potential, but there's now a big gaping void back here in right back, and there's a fair amount of reports circulating that Ferdi Kadıoğlu, the Dutch-Turkish international, again, Dutch Youth International, Turkish Senior International, is that Man United are really interested in him, and that deal might be something that they look to get over the line when the penny drops on the Wan-Bissaka transfer. You know, once that fee comes in, which is going to be chunky to West Ham, of course, that could like lubricate the finances to just replace him quite easily with Ferdi. So that would be, like, I think job done defensively. I do have the questions about left back, like I just mentioned, but really, like, to bring in two key centre-backs and a top-quality right-back that can even push Dalot over to left-back potentially, depending on availability and preference and that sort of thing. It does feel like that would be all but done with the defence. And then the talk is still going on that Casemiro could be going to Saudi, and if and when that happens, the Ugarte deal is still one that's going to be in the balance. And really, if Man United were to get that over the line, like maybe McTominay leaves, which maybe thins out the quality in here a little bit, so that's maybe something to think about, but honestly, this squad hasn't looked so good in so long if they get these sorts of deals over the line. And I do think that if McTominay did go, there's definitely some more room for addition in this defensive midfield department to cover for Ugarte. Maybe get another Yoro type, another emerging talent. And, you know, like, Man United really should have adopted a transfer strategy like this a longer time ago, and they wouldn't have found themselves in the mess that they've been in for the last couple of years. But hey, it's definitely going to be interesting to watch for the Premier League unfold, and if Man United are a genuine threat in matches, and it's just not watching out for them being the banana skin team and they get a result against the run of play, or against the form book or whatever. But, like, again, a lot of the raw minerals are here for them to really kick on. I'm really excited about the Yoro transfer, just to see how he does in the Premier League, because, again, it's a guy that I've been watching on this channel now for the last year and a half or whatever, and, you know, you'll love to see these young players get their opportunity on the big stage and see if they can stand up and be counted for. And really, like, Man United haven't been buying players of that profile for so long. So, yeah, definitely different times for them. Really excited to see the comment section on this one, guys. On screen there now is some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more content like this. Get into the comment section again and let me know what you think about Man United's business. Are they totally changed? Am I being fooled? Are we all being fooled? Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one.